Hello and welcome to Descender. My name is Luke, also known as Thierry. We are going to continue from the last video and begin parsing our HTML properly. So, in the last video, we started trying to ignore doc types and comments. I think we've got it working, but we're not sure yet, mainly because we get back results we don't expect. We still get HTML and the greater than for some reason, and we don't know what. Well, let's now start forming tags. So there's different types of tags that can exist in HTML. There's void tags, which we need to work out. So I've got a list at the top here, which I already had available. And we're just going to basically check when we form those tags, whether or not those tags are correctly formed. So what I'm going to do is, if we've got a less than and we do not do any of this stuff here, then it's likely that we can do something else. It's likely to be a tag that we can use. So we're going to transform it and take and extract information from it. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is going to be the first tag we see. So we first need to work out whether or not we're looking inside a tag or inside of an existing tag. I think the best thing to do is to create a new procedure that forms our tag. So form tag, which is going to take our procedure, our HTML, pointer to our HTML parser, and it's going to return to us the tag that we want to create, or we would have to create. So we form a tag. Now we're going to do that in multiple different ways. So this is going to be recursive. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new tag. It's going to be heap allocated, and then we're going to return it. So we're already at the token that is the less than. So we need to advance the token. We need to advance our parser and check what our token is. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that this token is definitely an identifier. Because if it isn't, then it's not a well-formed tag, and we would return nil in that case. So what I'm going to do here is just say printf malformed tag expected an identifier. We don't actually have. I'm actually going to make this print line. I'm not actually doing anything there. I'm not formatting it, so I think we'll leave it like that for now. So if that's the case, then we want to obviously get the tag name. Now, you're probably wondering, well, there are end tags as well. And yes, there is. But the way we're going to do this is we're going to, first of all, check that an identifier exists. And then there's going to be a section later where we find the end tag. Right. But we're going to do it like this for now. So we form a tag. So we check to see that there's an identifier that exists first, and we know that that identifier exists. Then we're going to get the name. So the name is going to be our strings. Oh, don't actually have strings imported here. I need to do that. Import core strings because I want to clone it. So clone, and that's going to come from our token value. That. Right. Now we want to check to see that our tag name is void. So I'm going to do tag is void, going to be equal to slice.contains, pass now void tag names, and then our tag.name. Okay. If our tag is void, right, then we know that there's not going to be any content for this tag, right? If there is content, then we're going to continue parsing within the tag itself. Otherwise, we just return the tag as it is. But we haven't actually parsed any attributes yet, so we need to parse the attributes first before we do that. So we're going to do this check anyway, or we'll do it later. But we still need that check to exist. So the tag is void. We also need to make sure that the name of the tag is actually valid. I don't have a list of HTML element names to grab from just yet. In fact, what I could do, because I did do it inside of the HTML parser, I could just find it inside of here. Got it here somewhere. Text might be a bit too big. Might be up here somewhere. Hold on. There we are. Valid element names. So we've got all of this. These are all valid element names, and everything else is incorrect. So I'm just going to copy and paste that up here. So valid tag names, which is our slice of strings, and I'm just going to copy and paste all this. Makes it a bit easier. Okay. Right. So this is a list of every single element name that we can use, the valid tag names. And what I'm going to do here is if slice contains or does not contain valid tag names, tag.name, and if it's not, then we're going to return nil, and we're going to basically say the following. Name of the tag is not valid. We're just going to call it that for now. I'll do proper errors later and transform it correctly. But we'll do that later. We're not bothered about it right now. We want to get things working. So now what we want to do is check to make sure that either when we peak, we're either guessing a space, not a space, we're either getting white space, or we peak and we get a greater than. Now, what we could do is also check to see if when we peak, we check our / as well. If we get that, then we're declaring that the element is void. But if it isn't void, in fact, I'll check that first. So if we peak / and we consume white space. So let's consume our white space first. So for through if peak p white space token equal to advance p else break, right? So we consume our white space. We can just put that into a separate procedure here, just so that we can just call it when we need to. Not returning anything. We'll grab our token from our parser. Tokens p.cursor, and then we'll return token. Return token like that. So we will consume white space. Token is equal to consume white space. So if we've got a forward slash, then we're basically saying we think this is a void tag. If it is not a void tag, if it is not a void tag, is void, then we're going to return nil once again, and we're going to say the following. Trying to close a void tag that is not void. Trying to close a tag that is not void, sorry. Something like that. Probably not the best error in the world, but I knew what I was trying to say. You could, so, you don't really self-close. There's no such thing as self-closing tags. You're just, it's a void tag basically, which means it has no ending tag. That's basically how that works. So we do that. And then if that's not the case, then we continue. And then we'll start parsing attributes. So parse attributes, if at any. So how do we do that? Well, an attribute key name can be multiple different things. So we're gonna, how am I gonna do this? I suppose we can do it just within this context. Do for true. We can start with an at symbol. We can start with an at symbol, and that's fine. Not at. Name. Value. Facts. I think what I'll do is if I do for token.type is not equals if token.type or let's do it as a switch actually. So we've switched token.type, make that partial wrong. So we'll say at is acceptable. I'll make this dynamic rune. I'll make that on the temp allocator. Value, we don't need to do that. Key name. And sorry. Key name. Oh. Well, we can say dash is acceptable. Like that. I'm going to say colon is acceptable as well. Oops. That's acceptable. And then also identifier is acceptable. And in the case of identifier, let's talk. It's not easy sometimes. I suppose what we could do is just do for s in token.value append name s like that. In any other case, then we are an invalid key. Print line invalid key name. Call it that for now. Again, I'll sort out the errors later. Return nil. So we get our key value is going to be equal to our UTF-8. Didn't have it. Hold on. Need to import it. Unicode / UTF-8 up here. Followed by UTF-8. So that'll be our, was it runes to string? There we are. Key name. Sometimes the temp allocator. Oh yeah. Do that. And then we also already have the value, so we don't actually need to do this. Now need to advance our key there. We need when we get to equals, we need to make sure that we check if eq key double quote token advance. And then we take our value, which is going to be our, assuming I should probably put down token dot type is equal dot HTML operator. I don't know why I've called it that actually, to be honest. That's stupid, but never mind. Doesn't matter. Make that an empty string for now. Value is equal to token dot value. Not sure if this is the best way to do that, but it doesn't matter. I think it will be fine. I think that's a reference. If we do it like this, we reference the token.value. But it doesn't matter. It's all getting deleted off the temp allocator later. So we get our value, and then we peak again. Double quote. Token advance. Now, when we get to this point, we'll consume white space. When we get to this point, what I'm going to do now, so every time we iterate over, we're going to check to see if we either get a / peak P. So in fact, I'm just going to do this. Else if peak P greater than, I'm going to break. Once we, okay, and then finally what we need to do is make sure that we actually store this in the tag. So oops, we've got attributes here. So I'm going to say this one is our key value, and then that's followed by value, like that, right? That should be everything. So we got a return tag, so now we just need to, I'm going to ignore content for now. I'm just going to make a comment for that. So we'll just literally see all the tags as we see them and just return them all on the root, just to make sure that we've actually parsed everything correctly. If we've, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say if peak P dot less than and peak num / actually ignore it for now. Oops, I'm going to ignore that for now. Just return the tag, make sure we're getting all of the attributes that we want. So we form the tag, we go, so when we parse, we're going to form the tag, which is going to be here. So we're going to say tag is equal to form tag P, and we're going to append our p.tags tag in here. And what I'm then going to do is, after we've parsed it, we're just going to check. So I'm just going to comment this out. I keep forgetting to press the control button, and we're instead going to have printf tags. Doing it in the fancy format. Why not? Tags. Right. Let's have a look. Let's see what happens when we build and run. There might be some issues, we don't know. Okay. We got a body. No. Title. Okay. Head. Malformed tag expected and identified. Oh, interesting. We've only got a few ones. A few that work. Okay. Interesting. Hmm. How bizarre. Oh, I just noticed. Put some light on. Start to get dark. I just noticed. Just as I look over to my other screen, I noticed. Okay, so something is going on that doesn't seem to make sense. So, malformed tag expected an identifier. I think that's why is that? What, when we have a look at HTML? We do less than. Huh. Well, I suppose really this is going to involve a bit more than I think. I'm going to leave it here for now. We're getting there, but there's certainly a lot more things that we need to do to this procedure, I feel, before we can actually get something that's completely properly formed, if you like. So I think we'll leave it for there, and I'll do some testing and check things out in the next video. So thank you very much for watching. And like I say, in the next video, we'll have a look at fixing these issues and moving on. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.